to the 8th Concession. My name is Natalie. Well, as you can see, it is well and truly winter here on the 8th Concession. We're getting a typical Southern Ontario January weather. We have snow squalls and wind and cold temperatures. Now, the snow isn't thick on the ground yet, although I hear over the next few days we may get about 10 centimeters, which is maybe 4 inches, I think. So a decent amount that will cover everything and demand some shoveling of the driveway. But for today, it's still pretty light on the ground, but it is a great day to just stay indoors and curl up in a chair with a book and a hot cup of tea. But I have to think about supper, and it's one of those days where I'm not really motivated to do a really, labor-intensive meal. So I'm going to make one of my favorites because it is 1 pot and 2 ingredients. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. And it is my roast, beef roast. And the pot is my slow cooker. And the 2 ingredients are the beef roast and some onion soup mix. Now, perhaps you already know this recipe, but for me, it is a go-to favorite. It is so delicious. It makes the most delicious gravy, and it's really a set it and forget it kind of meal. In fact, I'm not even sure it's enough to make a video on, but I'm gonna start with that and then move on to some other things. So let's get that roast on. So you can see this is a pretty old slow cooker, but it still does the job. Here we go. 1 roast, 1 package of dry onion soup mix. Now, I like to actually put a bit of the onion soup mix on the bottom. That way, when the juices start to come off the meat, it already has like a gravy on the bottom, or a marinade, I guess. I don't even thaw my roast. That's how quick and easy this is.
It's just a matter of putting in the roast, adding the rest of the dried soup mix over top. I put in about 1/8 cup of water and putting the lid on and turning it on.
So now while the slow cooker's doing its thing, I'm gonna leave it there for about 6 hours and do nothing to it. I may add some vegetables later on. My husband loves whole onions cooked in that, so I might just peel and throw in 2 or 3 small whole onions. If you want, you can add carrots, which they're delicious cooked in around the roast, and potatoes. Now, that won't be big enough for me to put enough potatoes in, but if you're just cooking for 2, I'm cooking for 6 today, but if you were just cooking for 2, you could throw the potatoes in around the roast. You still only have 1 pot. How easy is that? But that should be later. You don't want to leave them on for 6 hours. I'd say in a slow cooker, you'd probably put them on the last 2 hours or so for the vegetables, carrots, potatoes. The onions I would throw in a bit earlier, maybe 4 hours to go. Anyway, in the meantime, while that's cooking away, I thought I would tackle something else. Now, this is a bit embarrassing for me, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. So those of you who've been following may remember that this time last year, I opened up my seed haul. It wasn't really a haul, it wasn't that many, but I had ordered some seeds, and some of those seeds were tree seeds that I got from Ontario Seed Company. There was Douglas fir, blue spruce, sugar maple, and a flowering dogwood. And I showed how I stratified them. For those of you who don't know, stratification is something you have to do to certain seeds, and it's just to mimic the seeds going through winter. So you have to put them either in cold or freezing temperatures, depending on the seed, for an amount of time. So the seed thinks it's gone through winter, then now it's spring, and it will start to sprout. So I took the seeds out of the package and I mixed them with some moist potting soil in some Ziploc bags and put them in the fridge. They were supposed to stay in there for the different varieties of trees for between, I think, 4 weeks and 12 weeks. Well, it's now a year later And I actually never got around to planting the tree seeds. So I'm going to pull them out and I'm going to soak them in water because I think after this long, perhaps they've dried out. So I'm going to soak them in water to see if any of them sprout and then try planting them to see if I can salvage any of them. It's totally my fault, but you know, life gets in the way sometimes. It's been an extremely busy year here on the 8th concession, and that's my excuse and I'm sticking with it. So let's go see what has happened to the tree seeds in my fridge. Here we go. You see, I've just gathered up some old plastic containers. I'm going to put the seeds on the lid in some damp paper towel and then close the top over like a mini greenhouse and put them by a heat source here, probably one of the radiators. So I have, oh, I have 2. That one doesn't have a lid. Okay, that should be enough room to do them all. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, well, first we have my cedar tree seeds. Look at them all. They're fine. I wasn't trying to put them in moist soil, but they've been kept cool. So I'm going to plant a few more cedars. I love them around the 8th concession because they provide some privacy in winter and they grow well in our wet conditions. So that's fine. Ah. Oh, I forgot I had these. These came from my daughter-in-law, and they are peony tree seeds. Oh, she gave me all kinds. So her favorite pink, here's a light pink, a burgundy, and a red pink. So I'm gonna try to see if some of these will grow. They've been stratifying for a year. They had a nice long winter sleep. They might grow. Oh, here's another one, dark pink. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, I forgot about this. Burning bush. I collected these little seeds from a friend's burning bush. I just love how the leaves turn crimson red in the fall and they're just a nice green shrub through the rest of the year. So yeah, I'm gonna try them. I'll soak them, see if they're going to sprout. Oh, I know what these are, even though they're not labeled. These are winterberry. We have these growing wild on the 8th concession, and in the winter the leaves fall off, but the red berries just stay. They're so beautiful. I use them in my arrangements. You often see them, artificial ones, in the stores to decorate Christmas wreaths and displays, but these are the real thing. So I'm going to see if maybe some of these winterberry berries will sprout. All right. Oh, here we go. So now we have the tree seeds that have been sleeping for a year. This says blue spruce, January 21. Let's see. Well, they actually look a bit like they've gone moldy. Darn it all. But you know what? Do you see those little strings in there? I think they sprouted. I think that's what those are. I think the seeds actually sprouted. I am going to try planting them. Although the soil's fairly dry now. I don't know if I'll have any luck, but it won't hurt to try. So those are the blue spruce. Okay, I'm going to throw them in some pots. Now we have sugar maple. Oh, this seems to have even more mold in it. I'm so sorry. Little seeds. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, that's a lot of mold in there. there again. There again, it looks like one might have sprouted. I might try one or two. Oh, that's amazing. Now we have the balsam. Oh my goodness, the balsam fir. I don't know if you can see that. But there are roots in here. I can't believe it. Definitely. They sprouted. Oh my goodness. I am going to plant them and see if they grow. Balsam fir. Well, there should be one more, the dogwood. Oh, and look, I can see roots in the dogwood as well. That is amazing. You know, nature wants to grow, doesn't it? Well, I have changed plans here. I am actually going to plant these 4 types of tree seeds. I don't know if they'll all take, but certainly the dogwoods and the balsam fir have a good chance. I don't know about the sugar maple or the blue spruce, but it is worth a try. And then I am still going to soak some of these other trees, the winterberry, the burning bush, and maybe some of the tree peonies. Hey, we may have saved this after all. So first I'm going to work on the seeds I want to sprout. I'm going to cut this in half because I only have a few seeds. I want to do the burning bush and the winterberry. So I'm thinking maybe I can fit them both in this small one. All I'm going to do, you can see I folded the newspaper in half. I'm going to wet the newspaper and then place the seeds on it and tuck it inside. Now, let's work on planting these tree seeds. I got some paper cups and a marker to write right on the paper cup what they are. I brought up my potting soil. So, well, that is a good job done. And a surprising one. I honestly did not think these poor seeds would still be alive. And they're not only alive, but they're sprouting. I might get some trees out of this after all. And I did not expect that today. Okay, it's been about 8 hours, so we're going to take our roast out. Look at that. Now we're going to just cover the roast to let it rest, and then we're going to pour all the juices in a pot and make our gravy. Now I usually strain out the onion bits from the soup, but if you like it in, leave it in. I've added a bit of water, and then all I'm going to do is add a flour and water mixture to thicken it. So there you go, 1 pot, 2 ingredient roast beef. It doesn't get easier than that or more delicious. Bye for now.